Good morning students, welcome to GC Tech Hub CS Tutorials channel. In today's class we are going to start with a very new topic, that is for loops. So students, for loops are a very nice way of creating programs which involve iteration. So iteration, we already know that iteration means what? Looping, that is repeatedly executing some statements. So here also we will be seeing that for loop is also used for repeatedly executing some problems, but it works slightly in a different way as compared to your while loop. So when we are talking about for loop, we will also first see how while loop works. Now while loop works on the basis of a condition. Till the time a condition is true, the while loop body statements will continue to execute, and the moment the while loop becomes false, then the while loop will be terminated and the program control will go to the immediately following statements after the loop body. So it is not a fixed loop, that is we cannot say that it runs for a fixed number of times. But when we talk about a for loop is a loop which can be executed for a fixed number of times also, and which can be executed till a condition is true also. Normally for loop in other languages like C, C++ and all, in those languages for loop works on the basis of both. That is, it will we can also provide we can make it work like a while loop in the form of a indefinite loop, and we can also make it work like a definite loop, a finite loop, that which iterates for a fixed number of times. But in case of Python, for loop is totally meant for all those types of tasks where the number of iterations is fixed. So we will be seeing for loop today. So let us move on. So here we are. We are going to start with for loop. So there are two variants of for loop. One is the variant where we use for variable in collection. So this is one variant, and our second variant is for variable in range. That is, we use the range function where we give the start value, the stop value, and we give the step, or we can say skip value. So you can see very well over here that we have two different variants of for loops, where the first variant is something which is of this type, where we have to access certain things which are in a collection. If we want to access individual elements in a collection like list or tuple or set, we will use this variant. And if we want to generate some values within a specific range, we will be using this variant of for loop. So we will see in today's class how to work with the first one, that is for variable in collection variant. So we will be seeing the first method. And for understanding collections, we will be seeing the very easy and the most popular type of collection, that is lists. Although this variant of for loop works on lists, tuples, dictionary, strings, and sets. So we will be already learning all these we'll be learning these data types separately in the form of separate chapters, but we will start with lists for understanding this variant. So the syntax is like this. for variable in collection. Some statements. That's all. So this is the syntax of for loop, the first variation of for loop. Let's see an example of it. Suppose I write a question here. Given a list of colors, print each color in the list. So suppose we have a list. So let us understand this with the help of the interactive mode. So if I have a list of colors over here, for example, COLORS, and I have a list of various colors here. So I have some 5 colors in this list, and I want to access each color value from the list individually. So how to do that? I'm going to first copy this statement and I'm going to paste it here. Now to access these colors from the list, I will be writing a statement like this. For item in colors, print item. So what it does is it will access each of the elements from this list, that is colors. We already know that lists, they contains a list of elements which are marked by ordinal numbers or indices, that is subscript. Indices is the plural of index. If we are talking about only one number, that will be index, and if we are talking about multiple values, it will be indices. They are also known as subscripts. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see over here that each of these elements is numbered. So we can see that each of these elements has a particular ordinal number which is known as a subscript. So what this variant of for loop does is it takes up a variable item, and with each iteration of the loop it is going to pick one item from this list. Like first iteration it picks up red, so item will be what? Red. And when you print item, it will be printing red on the screen. Second iteration, item will be yellow, and when you print it, it is going to be yellow. Similarly, third iteration it will be blue, fourth iteration it will be green, and so on till the list completes. So the fifth iteration will give you what? Magenta. So you can see that when this is being printed by the print statement, each of these values in items will be printed. Let us check it out. So we have already written this. We will write for item in colors, print item. Press enter, and now we have to go back. So we will press the backspace key and press enter, and you can see that it prints all the values. Right now we have executed the program in the interactive mode. So you can see that it prints all the values in the order in which they appear in the list, because lists are what? They are ordered collections. Lists are ordered collections of data. So this type of a loop, it works very easily on ordered as well as unordered collections. So here you can see that all the elements, they are printed in the same way as they appear in the list. You can also change it, like now I'm going to write the same program in the script mode. So I'll bring it to this. Let us take the same list which has been specified here. So I'm just going to copy these statements and paste them here and remove some extra characters. And now let's try to print the colors on the same line. So we will write end equals space. So now you can see that all the colors, they are printed on the same line. Likewise, you can perform any operation on this data. Like if I just modify the question a little bit and I say modify the above program to print the length of each item. How will I do this? So for doing this, I will just add a statement here. That is, now I have to add the length of print the length of the item. So I will write print len item. The len function, it prints the length of the item. So I will be writing this over here, and now when you run the program, you will be able to see that the length of the item is also printed along with the item name. So this is how we can use this loop to perform any type of operations, and we can use this loop to access members from a collection. Let's try to solve another program using this. Write a Python program to find out the tallest student in the class, the heights of all students is already given below. So there is a list which contains heights of students. So its name is height, and it contains the heights of most students. So you can see that I already have some heights of students in the class. So this is the list which is already given to me. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to just see how this is going to work. So to understand this now, because this particular statement, we will be writing a pseudocode for this. Because certain statements, Python is a language of its own kind. So certain statements in Python, they may not conform according to the standard rules of most programming languages. So we will be using some Python specific statements also in the pseudocode. So we start the program and we first of all initialize heights equal to, so I have already copied that, I'm simply going to paste that over here. Initialize list heights as this. Then next is what I'm going to do is I will be accessing each element from the list. So for this purpose, I will be writing a pseudocode here. While heights are already there, so if list has items, then go to step 4. Otherwise, go to step X. Now what will be step 4? We have to choose the person with the greatest height. So that is why we are going to also initialize. You can always change the line numbers later. So I'm going to initialize or set tall or tallest as a variable, and I will be setting it to 0. Just like this, we are going to use the same logic for finding out the largest element from a list of items here. Okay, so if the list still has items, now I'm going to change the line numbers here. So that will makes it 5, and here it will be step 5. So if the list has items, then go to step 5, otherwise go to step 8, step X. So now we will be writing if item, or we will first write access item from the list, or access item from heights as item, and then write if item, or if tallest is less than item, then set tallest equals item. Okay, so we will be doing this, and step 7 will be, and if nothing happens, then we will simply go to step 7, that is move the pointer to next item. So now internally Python will be pointing to the next item. We don't have to, you can see over here that we are not keeping a track. We are not using any loop control variable because Python does that internally. So we will move it to the next item, and we will again go to step 4. So this will continue till we get the tallest student in the class, and finally we will display tallest student is tallest centimeters tall, and finally it will be stop. So you can see very well that go to, if there are no more elements, then go to step 9. So let's take this pseudocode and let's write a program from this. So I'm going to hide this pseudocode within a block comment. Now we'll start. First of all, I'll create a list name heights, and I will give it some values. So I'm simply going to copy these list item values from here, and I will just be pasting it. Now tallest equals 0. Now for item in heights, so this will access one item each. So fourth step is this for loop, and the fifth step takes place internally within Python. So, and we'll be doing the sixth step now, that is if tallest is less than item, then set tallest as item, and then move the pointer to the next item. This will be handled automatically by Python. Go to step 4, that is automatically after this step the program control will be coming back to for loop only. Then display the tallest student. So I will write the tallest student is tallest centimeters tall. So that's it, and now let's run the program. So we can easily see that the tallest student is 185 centimeters tall. So I have just written students here, whereas it has to be student. If I just make some changes here, like I add 183 over here, and if I write here, I make something as 190, although that would be a giant. So you can see 190 centimeters tall. So rest of the code works similar to what we have done earlier. So students, this was our very first variant of for loop, that is for item in collection variant, and we also saw how it works. It's a very easy variant of for loop and which can be used, which is not provided by most programming languages. In most programming languages, if we are working with lists or arrays or vectors, we have to keep a track of each of the elements, whereas here we don't have to do any such thing. It Python automatically handles the lists and also its list items and goes on advancing the pointers to the next list item and so on. So we end this class over here, and then again we will meet in the next class.